Okay, everybody, I'm going to speak loud. I'm sorry about the noise. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I've got my tallest ticket here, second half, Laura Devlin. We're going to do a quick presser, then we're going to do a few comments, and I'm going to walk down. The house I grew up in is actually a couple blocks down the street. It's called Pond Street. You know, people say we got two rich guys running for governor. You know, I'll admit it, I've done pretty well, but one of the two guys running grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, going to the polo grounds on the weekend. I grew up here. Terrific upbringing. We had a three-family house. We lived on the bottom floor. My grandparents lived on the middle floor, and we had Southern Connecticut students on the top floor. My parents actually got married in the church, St. John the Baptist Church, and next door is the grammar school I went to, which is now a methadone clinic. So, you know, Democrats have been in charge of the cities for 40 years now. I think we can do better. I think unless you've struggled to make a rent payment or had some of the issues that people in the cities feel, I think it's hard to empathize with it. I am going to empathize with it, and I'm going to be here more than once every 4 years. At the same time, you hear the term food desert in cities, that there's nowhere to get food. You hear about people saying they got to choose between food and prescription medicines. Meanwhile, we're sitting on a $6 billion budget surplus in the Capitol. It's wrong. It's wrong to keep that money up there when people are struggling. What Laura and I want to announce today is we're calling it Connecticut First Program.
All right, what up, fam?
FIRST stands for Fight Inflation and Reduce State Taxes. Fight inflation and reduce state taxes. We're going to take half of that budget surplus. We're going to take $3 billion. And through a variety of reforms, we're going to give it back to the people of Connecticut where it's deserved. Thank you. It's going to come up to about $2,000 per household. They're real reforms, they're practical reforms, and we're going to get it back to the people who need it. 3 categories. We're going to do some targeted tax cuts that I'm going to get done in my first 100 days in office. To the point earlier, I'm not going to disappear after this press conference is over. I'm going to come back here and we're going to give you some tax relief. We're going to get rid of the 1% tax on food that Governor Lamont placed on prepared meals. We're going to extend the gas tax holiday. Both taxes on regular gas and the tax on diesel, we're going to extend it through the end of 2023. Saves the average commuting family about $700 a year. We're going to reduce the sales tax permanently from 6.35% to 5.99%. Inflation is out of control. You guys are feeling it. Prices are going up every single day. I can give a little bit of relief on those prices by lowering the sales tax. We're going to control utility costs. We're going to disband Pura. Get rid of it. It's supposed to be 5 people. There's only 3. They're appointed by the governor and the legislature. We're going to replace Pura with a 10-person board that's actually going to watch out for the consumer. What a novel idea that is. That we actually, for once in the history of Connecticut, put the consumer first. We're going to make sure that that board includes a couple regulators, but it's also going to include people from the business community. It's also going to include consumers. No more of this guaranteed rate of return that Eversource enjoys. They should get paid based upon performance. You saw CL&P the other day. They're going to raise rates yet again. People in Connecticut are getting squeezed at every single side they turn. Meanwhile, the governor sits on billions of dollars up in Hartford. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it. And it's going to change the first day that Laura and I are in power. Enough is enough. Property tax release. Washington took away the SALT deduction. They took away the deduction for state and local taxes. I can't change what happens in Washington, but I can change what happens in Connecticut. And we're going to bring that deduction back for the state tax return. We are going to allow up to $10,000 of property tax to be deducted on your state return. It's going to be capped. And it's going to essentially increase the current tax credit for property taxes. It'll be replaced by a $600 deduction on average per family. These things add up. If in our first year we can find $2,000 to give back to every household across Connecticut, we're doing something good. And I know there's a lot of ego in politics. I know there's a lot of noise in politics. But I grew up 2 streets away from here. I'm doing this to help the people of Connecticut. I'm doing it to help my old neighborhood. And it's time somebody put the people of Connecticut ahead of politics. Number 3, we have to support small business. I don't want to have to move down to Nashville like Governor Lamont's wife does to do business. We should be able to do it here. So we're going to use the COVID money to repay that part of the unemployment insurance loan that is being assessed to small business across the state. Take some relief. We're going to restore the pass-through entity credit that Governor Lamont reduced. We're going to bring it back up to the 93%. Give small business some relief. We're going to simplify business. I hear stories out in the field, and Laura does it well, at small, medium-sized business needing to hire a full-time person to handle the forms, to handle the complaints. It's crazy what's going on out there. Last week we proposed getting rid of the bottom 200 taxes. That's going to make it more efficient. We're going to put a blue ribbon panel together. We're going to stop the mandates. We're going to look at the mandates, and we're going to get rid of the ones we can, while protecting the consumer, while protecting the environment, while protecting the taxpayers. But mandates and laws never go away in this state. Many of them are relevant, but if we're overburdening business, that's why businesses are leaving Connecticut, going down to places like Tennessee, where it's more streamlined to do it. So let me conclude by just saying a couple things. This is a reasonable, executable, rational program. This is achievable, but it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some tough decisions, and it's going to take some leadership. It still leaves $3 billion to manage through the recession we all know is coming. And one of the things people need to think about, tough times are coming. And do you want a guy who ran a 500-person cable company getting you through tough times, or do you want somebody like Laura and me who have corporate experience? I've restructured businesses with billion-dollar budgets and tens of thousands of employees. I know it's harder in the government sector. I get it. That's one of the reasons we have Laura Devlin on the ticket, to help me manage this legislature, to simplify Connecticut, to make it more affordable to live here. And we just talked about on the corner, to create jobs. That's what people want. They want to create jobs. I know the other thing I'm going to hear. Some of these are permanent tax cuts. They're going to continue. We can fund that by being more efficient in government, not reducing education. In fact, we should increase education funding from what I can tell. But it's about being more efficient. We're going to audit every agency. We're going to audit where every nickel of that $6 billion of COVID money went. We're going to make sure if there's other instances like we saw in West Haven where they stole it to buy poker chips and marching bands, that those people are held accountable. If we find 4.4% of our budget, $24 billion, that's enough to cover these permanent tax cuts. I've been doing this for a long time. We'll use zero-based budgeting. I have never seen an organization, and I would argue most families across Connecticut could find 5% savings if they really tried. Look at the state pier. That's $230 to $300 million right out the window. It's not right what's going on in Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. And I picked a hell of an LG with a hell of an experience base, and a guy from this neighborhood is going to clean it up. So I'm going to have just a few questions, and then for people that want to take a walk, I appreciate you coming out today. And I got to thank the guys at Weisel's, guys and women over there. I used to ride my bike here. I'm a little bit upset you got rid of the ice cream fountain. Was my favorite. But I'd ride my bike down here. What a great upbringing. These guys have been here since 1913. Still do home deliveries. What pharmacy do you know in Connecticut that does home delivery? I can remember my parents leaving the house at 10 o'clock to get me drops for my ears to come down here, and you guys would show up and give it out. So you're a testament to the community. You're a testament to small business in Connecticut. And you know what's most important? You're a testament to integrity. You're good guys, and you're trying to do the right thing for the community. So thank you for that.